Well, I'm excited for our collaboration that's happening right now with a 3-time Stanley Cup champion.
Let's go!
Analyst for MSG Network and NHL Network. And, of course, we're talking about Ken Daneyko. Welcome to the show
Let's
today.
go. Good morning,
Ken.
Good morning.
Good morning.
How are you guys? I'm on. I didn't realize it. I'm kind of out of it still this morning, but all good. Great to be on.
And he's wearing a Jordan cap. Look at that. Look at the synergy.
Oh, yeah. You caught that, right?
Yeah, nice work.
I've played there a few times, played there during the Olympic break, and what an atmosphere there. And I did see the great Michael Jordan and got to say hello. So that's always exciting. We're fans, too, and one of the great athletes of all time, so it was pretty cool.
Wait, are you trying to say that you were golf gambling with Michael Jordan recently?
No,
is that what I'm hearing here, Ken?
No, there. I don't have deep enough pockets, guys. And if my game was a little better, I think I might take a risk. But
amazing stuff. Okay, before we get into it, Ken, because in prepping for the interview last night, I was going through it and I counted 5 fights that you had with Maple Leafs head coach Craig Berube. Like, did you guys? I mean, we have some viz of some of it too. Did you guys really hate each other that much? I mean, this was you guys had quite the rivalry going.
Well, as you guys know, there's one right there. Yeah, Craig, first and foremost, we're good friends now. I have such respect for him. In fact, before the season, I did a little shoot commercial type thing with Craig Berube, Rob Ray, Ty Domi, Joe Kosher. Who am I missing? And I had danced with all of them at least once, and that was never very fun because those guys were tough guys. But you find out you're all so competitive at the end of the day, and you're a lot alike after your career's over and you get along and do some charity work together. But yeah, Craig was a tough customer, but division rival. When the game was played that way, we went at it a few times, and I'm just happy I'm still kind of in one piece, I believe. My wife might beg to differ, but Craig was one of the toughest that ever played the game, and I have a lot of respect for him.
Ken, if we could stick along that line for one moment. So Jack Hughes making headlines, obviously, for his amazing goal that helped them get gold, but he also is missing half a chiclet or two, which I know in your career, you have an amazing, beautiful smile right now. But I heard rumors at times when, you didn't have your front 2 chiclets and you had those replacement teeth.
Yes.
You leave them at the arena from time to time. Is this true?
Oh, you did your homework. You definitely did your homework. Yeah, I always say I officially, unofficially, and before or after Bobby Clarke was probably the guy at the end of the day and the end of his career was missing more teeth than anybody, 13 to be exact, after my last game, hoisting a Stanley Cup in Game 7 of 2003, and which I was grateful to go out on top, every athlete's dream. But that smile with no teeth, and I did. I used to take my teeth out for the game, and whether it was in Chicago, Minnesota, you name it, they used to always call my trainer and say, Daneyko left his teeth again. We're sending it up overnight. And I go, damn, I forgot my teeth again. How am I going to eat? But that was all part of it. I would change all those chiclets for success and whatever it took to try to win the ultimate goal, the Stanley Cup. And yeah, Jack Hughes a little prettier than me, but I didn't know he wanted to replicate me or look like me a little bit. And I guess it was all worth it for him as well, with that great big smile after going down in history. And he'll always be etched in history with the golden goal for Team USA at the Olympics.
Well, absolutely. And you have a similar experience of when you won the Stanley Cup. You had to do this crazy media tour. We have a photo of you on David Letterman for one of the times you won the Cup. And so Hughes right now is on this late night tour. He's on morning shows, all of this during the season. What do you remember about the chaos of all the extra media and appearances of when you won the Stanley Cup? Because I can't imagine for Jack right now during the season, all of the extra requests.
Well, first off, my longtime Boston general manager would never have let that happen during the season. So that's why we did our whirlwind tour after the season.
Yeah.
But no, I think it's great for the game, and it puts eyes on our great game of hockey. And there's nothing more exciting than Canada and USA playing. We saw it at Four Nations. We saw it at the gold medal game at the Olympics. And Jack Hughes has got such a great personality that I'm not sure, guys, who's gone more viral. You can maybe tell me. Punch the Monkey in Japan or Jack Hughes over the last couple of weeks. And you know what I'm talking about, right? I mean,
of course. Got to be honest, though, Ken. I wasn't expecting a Punch the Monkey reference from you.
Are you kidding me? I'm following Punch like crazy. I mean, I love animals. We all do. And I love Jack Hughes. And what an exciting moment. I mean, he's been on, Jimmy Fallon and, so
SNL.
many different SNL, shall I say? Yeah, absolutely. So he's done quite a bit, and again, we want to see the personality of players and his great brother, one of the best that's in the game, and Quinn Hughes. We want to see those guys' personality and grow our great game and just the skill and speed of today's game. I've evolved. I enjoy it as much as anything. People ask me, guys, about my era. Could I play in today's game? And I go, listen, the training and technology, everything's different, and the mindset was so different. I love my era, and having to be nervous the night before a game, having to probably know I'm going to fight Craig Berube if we were playing the next night. That was all part of it, and I loved it. You'd be nervous and even a little fear once in a while, but now I said it was just total different training. My training in the day, in the 80s, was going to the boxing gym because I knew I had to play that tough guy role every once in a while, or physicality and protect teammates. And I said I would have trained differently. So it's comparing apples and oranges. My time was my time. I loved it. In today's game, these guys have skills coaches, and it's all about edge work and skating and puck handling. And it's remarkable, the skill of these guys. Speaking of the Hughes brothers and company, and so many greats like McDavid and Matthews. I mean, I love watching them play, and I don't need to see a fight every night. But yeah, I was a good player when I was young. I'm saying, of course I could play because I would have trained differently. Or that's what I want to think anyway.
Yeah, and then Scott Niedermayer stole all your power play one time, right?
Yeah, well, there you go. I mean, Nieder, one of the greats, a dear friend, and I just love the guy, and he made the game look effortless. I'll tell you a funny story with him when he was a rookie. I mean, we had one of those so-called bag skates, playing bad for a couple of games, no pucks when they did it back in the day, and blue line, red line, all the way down and back, and Jacques Lemaire had us doing all these skates, and I come in the dressing room after an hour of that, and no pucks, lie on the floor, I'm drenched like I just came out of the shower, exhausted. All of a sudden, this young 19-year-old kid comes walking in, takes his jersey and shoulder pads off, and all he has is one little teardrop of sweat right here. And I look at him and I go, "Are you kidding me, Needs? That wasn't hard for you?" And he goes, "Not bad, kind of hard. He just didn't want to embarrass all of us, in particular me." It was effortless to him because he was floating on top of the ice with his great skating ability and agility, and we're digging into the ice. So just one of the greats, and I got to play with him for a long time as a D partner, and I knew what to do. Stay back, protect him once in a while, and when I had the puck, look for him. So that was pretty simple game.
Pass it to Scott. That's the way to go.
Pass it to Scott. He'll get it out of harm's way.
So on the Devils this year, Kenny, and it's much like the Leafs season. It's kind of gone unexpectedly and maybe not meeting expectations. And a lot of the first half of the season, I think the eye of the storm was on Jack Hughes a little bit. Some of the unfortunate injuries he had, and he's a high bar of expectation from Devils fans. I wonder how that golden goal has kind of reset everything and hopefully allowing him to kind of grow back into the player that he can be and the star that the Devils need him to be.
Yeah, I mean, there's so many things we can talk about, and not excuses about what went wrong this year in New Jersey with high expectations, and we obviously know Goals have been hard to come by. They sit at the bottom of the league, which is just mind-boggling to me because every single top guy collectively, not that they haven't played decent hockey at times, just haven't been able to finish. And it all coincided November 12th in Chicago when the Devils were, I believe at the time, first place in the Metro, and Jack Hughes went down with that freakish injury and cut fingers. So it really set them back as far as where everybody was slotted. I mean, he just makes everybody around him better. And even when he came back, it took him some time, 10, 12 games, because he had a protective cast type thing or protection for his hand. And let's face it, his game's all about his hands, his mind, and his skating ability. And now he's kind of, since the Olympics, he had such a great performance and rounding into form again. And for the last 2 games anyway, the team looks like the team we envisioned all season long. I'm going, where was this? I mean, now they're all slotted well, all 4 lines contributing. Luke Hughes is a big part of that. He got healthy, and he slots the defenseman pairings better because he is the best skater on the back end, such an important element. But Jack, make no mistake, he's the catalyst for this team. He's playing good hockey. He's got a point a game so far, even with his injuries, and it looks like he hasn't even hit the tip of the iceberg when he's healthy. I mean, he's going to be a 100-plus point guy if he can, play an entire season the next handful of years. But they need him. He's been terrific as of late, and obviously the excitement and everything you guys mentioned, the media tour and so much going on personally in his life. But he wants nothing more, and he's mentioned it many times to lead this Devils team back to dominance or back to what we used to be a little bit, and that was vying for Stanley Cups. And this league's tough. The competitive balance is off the charts, and yeah, they haven't met expectations this year, but I'm going by recently. In the last 2 games, they've been more fun to watch again, guys, and it's usually led by the catalyst, Jack Hughes. Just a terrific young man and great player.
Ken, Cabbie here. Good morning. I'm going to follow Dan here with as both the Toronto Maple Leafs and the New Jersey Devils, who were a year ago, the Leafs win the Atlantic Division, the Devils are in the playoffs, and this year it's like the other side of the coin. But when teams are underperforming, is it spoken or unspoken by team personnel, front office, whatever, that this final stretch of the season is going to be a showcase or even an audition for other teams for UFAs?
Well, yeah, great question. I mean, look, and I'm just going from experience in my playing days, and the deadline's always a, nervous time for a lot of players. Teams trying to prove if you're in the playoffs and you think you got a shot to win the ultimate goal, or if you're a team that hasn't met expectations like the Leafs and Devils, where now you think you're open to business, you're open-minded to anything along the way because you have to get better, and it's nerve-wracking for players, I think, a little bit. But from the flip side, understandable from the standpoint that it's a business. These guys understand that, and I don't know exactly where I was going with this, but just the fact that you've got to take a look at what's going to improve your team, and the Devils are no different. They're going to listen. Again, for me personally, I think you've got to balance that and be a little bit careful, because I still like a lot of their core. And there's been talk about, do they need to change like the Leafs did last year, and when Marner left, do they need to mix that up and change one of their core pieces? And I'd be careful, because they still have a lot of good players there that I just feel it was one of those years that what could and would go wrong or did. And that these guys have a lot of pride. But as a player, you're always playing like you have an opportunity, that you can go on this magical run. So you always have to believe. I mean, you hear fans, you hear media at times, well, it might be better for the team to tank because then they got a better odds of getting higher up in the draft. Players never think like that. They're thinking about their job, kind of alluding to what you're saying. But I got to play my best here if I want to be part of the solution moving forward with my organization. And yes, there's a lot of teams around the National Hockey League watching you every step of the way that if in fact you're the player that doesn't fit into your team, but you still want to perform to your highest level to make sure you're in the National Hockey League the following year. I guess that's kind of the way I look at it.
On our show, we like to celebrate, the gritty players, grinders, and we often champion like players who play in the bottom six. So Cody Glass, who's tied his career high in goals with 14 goals. As a defenseman, what makes him so challenging to get away from the front of the net?
Well, he's a smart hockey player, and then, we can't forget he was a high draft pick this year, a handful of years ago, with the Vegas Golden Knights. And some players, for whatever reason, it's always about finding consistency as a young player or opportunity or a nice fit. And it takes some guys longer than others to really find their game. But I think he's settled in here in New Jersey. And there's been rumors his name's on the block. Yeah, why not? Because teams would be very interested. I certainly don't want to see the Devils get rid of Cody Glass, because I think he's finally finding his niche, what he's capable of in the National Hockey League. He's a big guy. He's rangy. He is tough to move around the net. He's got great hand-eye coordination. Scored a nice tip goal last night against the Florida Panthers. But he's an intelligent player that plays a 200-foot game. So those guys are hard to find. I'm keeping Cody Glass. That's just my opinion. I know you have to keep open-minded if you're the general manager in New Jersey or in Toronto, and everybody's up for the taking if it's the right deal. But we've heard some rumors with Cody Glass, and for the Devils, for me, I'm keeping the guy. I think he's part of the solution moving forward and going into next season.
It feels like he's found a good home there in New Jersey. Last question for me for you, Ken. You won Stanley Cups in 95, 2000, and 2003. And if the Stanley Cup trophy itself could talk, which one of those years would it have called HR and called the Hockey Hall of Fame and said, listen, get me out of here. This ish is too intense. I need to come home immediately.
That's great. That's great. Yeah, you do have a lot of fun with that Stanley Cup one tonight. And it's no question the 1995 team. That was a crazy.
How so? And why?
Well, I mean, everybody liked to party. Everybody was great. So that group we likened us. I don't know if this is a compliment, but we had a little bit of 1986 New York Mets in us. We had a wild bunch. But
Yes. Yeah. Let's go.
Yeah,
Wow.
So there, if the walls
amazing.
could talk, that we did some crazy stuff that year. And I think that, believe it or not, guys, that was the first year that the Stanley Cup had a cup keeper, because the Rangers had beaten it up so much before '94 in New York there, and that was a crazy group of guys, because I know a lot of those players as well that they protected it. But I will tell you, the allotment is 24 hours for each player, and I used it for 23 hours, 59 minutes, and 59 seconds without any sleep.
I can imagine you had the best time. Oh my
Yeah,
gosh.
that's what it's all about. Once you win it, celebrating with your teammates, and that was just a group of guys I loved. I mean, everyone was different, and 2000 I always say was our most complete team, our most talented team, our best team. I mean, we could beat you any which way. 95 was a lunch pail group that came close in 94 in an epic series against the Rangers, and they went on to win the Cup that year, as everybody knows. And we lost to them in the Eastern Conference Finals in double overtime in Game 7. One of the greatest playoff series ever played. Had a little bit of everything, all the Hall of Famers and everything else. But that 2000 team, we could play it any way you wanted it. We had skill, we had speed, we had toughness. We had the great Marty Brodeur, and that team, we were just loaded for bear. But 95, we were ready to turn on the switch come playoff time, because we had some unfinished business with the same group from 94 that we were able to do. And we only lost 4 games in the playoffs that year, went 16-4, swept the mighty Detroit Red Wings, who were heavily favored in the finals. But that was a crazy group of characters. the Randy McKays and our role players. You talk about bottom six guys, and our fourth line, Randy McKay, who had no fear, would fight anybody, scored 8 goals that year in the playoffs. So that was the balance we had. Bobby Olie was on the fourth line. He was 6'4", 235 pounds, just a menace with skill. I mean, that's a load. That's tough to beat when your fourth line is those guys. And I always have such respect. We have the great Hall of Famers like Stevens and Niedermayer and Broder, obviously, and those guys lead the way. But you don't win Stanley Cups or go 4 grueling rounds without those meat and potato guys, I like to call them, those guys that do all the dirty work. And I have such respect for players like that along the way.
Well, Ken, I'm going to call you Kenny because Dan called you Kenny, and I feel like he did, so I can.
I like
on the
Kenny.
same show. Kenny, we appreciate your time. I'm going to end off with a question that is for scientific research that I am doing.
You don't want to use my brain for scientific research, I hope. I don't know what you'd find in there.
Fun and good times.
Yeah, it's fun. Have you ever seen the movie Shrek?
Of course, yeah.
Yes, of course.
You're killing me.
Linz.
We appreciate you. I've never seen it, and I'm going to get absolutely roasted when you're off this call, but we appreciate you today, Kenny. We hope you have a great day. Thanks for the time.
Thanks, guys. Thanks for having me. A lot of fun. Have a great day.
Thanks, Kenny.